Hi, this is Sarah of Sarah Cubice DPT Myofascial Release, and this is Ryder. Today we're going to be doing a myofascial release self-treatment technique for the adductors. That's adductors. Those are the muscles on the inside of the thigh that go up into the pelvis. And there's a couple different ways to do this. I find that for different people they need a different technique. So some people the 4-inch Sport Time All Ball really works well. For some people the foam roller works well. So I'm going to kind of show you both techniques and ways to kind of play around with both techniques to help them work for you. As with all of these, you're looking for the technique that works for you, and you're responsible for making that decision. So you're always looking for what your body is able to accept pressure-wise, sensation-wise, what you're able to kind of relax into, and what you're able to feel shift and change the tissue versus trying to force tissue to change. So none of my techniques are you getting onto something and rolling over top of it. You're not using the tools to make your body relax and release. You're using your awareness to allow your body to relax and release. And the pressure from the tools just helps you to take your awareness there and helps to get some physical input into the structures so that those restrictions are kind of being in a taut position. So like I said, use whatever technique works for you. The adductors, as I said, go anywhere from the knee, so you don't want to ever be on the inside of the knee joint, but you can be anywhere from right above that knee joint up into the groin. And oftentimes I find it's helpful to actually get right below where the leg comes into the pelvis and gets onto the muscles there. So but anywhere along in there is fair game. And so, I do think that sometimes it's helpful to take a ball and kind of roll along and see where are the areas that are tender or feel like they're really taut or restricted. And that's a good starting point. Knowing that if it's too intense when you're actually in the position, being right off of that position can sometimes be helpful to have the area release without having to have that direct pressure right on top of it. So I think we'll start first with a foam roller. With this technique, you are kind of looking for your pelvis to be situated. You're going to kind of be lying on your belly, and you're going to be kind of lying on your side. And the way that your pelvis is situated is really going to have a direct impact as to what's going on the legs. So start to kind of lie down, somewhat on your side, somewhat on your belly. Have that foam roller next to you, and just that a little bit better. You're going to take that top leg and put it right over top of the foam roller. So if I'm working these lower areas, again, you want to make sure that you're right above the knee. And then what you're going to do is you're going to play around with how your pelvis is situated. If I am facing my pelvis, so those bones at the front of the pelvis are both facing towards the wall, I don't get a whole lot of pressure there. If I start to situate both sides of my pelvis so they're facing more kind of diagonally to the floor, I get a little bit more pressure. So that's one way that you can kind of control the amount of pressure. Another way is what's going on at the knee. So if I have the lower leg off the foam roller, and then I can even play around with that knee straightening or bending. And again, you're always looking for that barrier. You're looking for the place where you can really feel like there's some sensations, and they may even be intense sensations. As long as you're able to relax into them, they're okay. So again, feeling sensation, able to relax into it, the intersection of those two is exactly what you're looking for. So again, you can kind of have that be a little bit higher up into towards the groin, towards the pelvis, to the point where it can actually be situated almost as if you're kind of getting your pelvis right on top of that foam roller, and so the pressure will be just right below where the leg comes into the pelvis. So anywhere along in there is fair game. And really it's the same situation with a ball. For a lot of people, if you have, I'm guessing, I have no idea, but if you have thin thighs that don't touch each other, I'm guessing that the ball is going to be too small for you. But you may be able to use the ball, if that's all you have, if you're really flexible. So even if you have thin thighs, my guess would be that if you can really get your pelvis so that those bones on the front are both oriented down towards the ground, I think that you could probably still figure out a way to get some good pressure there. And again, you can play around with what's going on with the knee, straight or bent. So once you figure out exactly what tool you're using, and again, you can always use my video to make your own 4-inch all ball. Once you find that exact position that you want to be in, where you want it to be, what you're using, then you're settling in and going into the release. So I'll do that with you right now. So as you're relaxing down and you're feeling the sensation of the ball or the socks or the foam roller on the area that we're working on, just check in and see if there's anywhere else in your body that you can soften. So everything else should be nice and supported. So I have my arm kind of tucked up under my head, but if you need a pillow, get a pillow and put your head on the pillow so that you can really relax down. And then just check in and see, can you let the things that you're resting on support you even more? So can you really just let go of any places that you're holding and really allow the floor to hold you up? It might mean that my head sinks down a little bit more. It might mean if your arm's on top of you, maybe your arm just kind of comes down. So really just letting yourself almost flop. I had a patient that would call it the princess flop. Princess flop yourself on the floor and just let everything be soft. And really focusing your attention on the area that we're working on, those inner thighs. Really allowing that area to accept the pressure that is coming into it. So play around a little bit with your mental focus and your mental beliefs and your mental kind of stance on that pressure, and see, what does it feel like if you are trying to resist that pressure? Let yourself try it. What does it feel like if you really don't want that pressure there and you're trying to resist it? What does that feel like? And then see, okay, well, what does it feel like if I'm okay with that pressure, if I'm really allowing it and willing to have it be there? What does that feel like? And if you need to, if you want to, go back and forth a few times. What does it feel like to really not want that pressure there? Can you feel the rest of your body tensing up? Can you feel yourself kind of pulling your weight off of that ball? What else are you doing? What else do you notice that you do when you're pretending that you are resisting, or even when you actually are resisting that pressure? And then what changes when you're okay with the pressure and you're willing to allow yourself to feel the sensations that go along with that pressure, that input into that inner thigh? What changes in your body? And then see if you can just allow that to happen even a little bit more. And see what you notice when that happens. If it's too intense, if you can't stay there, then move the ball off that spot a little bit. Rotate your pelvis so it's facing more towards the wall. Adjust it so that you can get yourself into a position where you can fully relax and fully accept whatever pressure is there. Take care of yourself. It's not just about taking care of yourself, it's about getting the most out of this. If you're fighting yourself the entire time you're here, you're actually not going to get much out of it. Except hopefully an awareness that you fight yourself. So if you're becoming aware of a habit that you have, then that's great. That is helpful. But as far as physically, if you're letting yourself be able to accept the sensation and the pressure versus saying to yourself, oh well, I can take it, I'm strong, I'm no big deal, when in actuality there's part of you that's saying, please don't make me go through this, then that's fighting with yourself and you're not going to get as much physical change out of it. So just watch your whole process, see what's there, see what comes up. Always an opportunity to learn more using some mindfulness techniques about what's going on for yourself and maybe how this part of your body relates to some mental and emotional habits that you have. So again, 3 to 5 minutes is what you're shooting for, but if you can stay attuned to your process and things are shifting and changing, you're welcome to stay there for longer. When you feel ready, you can kind of roll yourself off the ball a little bit. Get that ball out from underneath you, come into a neutral position, and then I would encourage you to do the same technique on the other side, or if you feel like when you were working in there was another area that maybe was calling out to you along the inner thigh, you're welcome to go ahead and do a couple other places through that area. I would say do that if you're experienced with doing some of these self-release techniques. If this is one of the first times, or if you've only done it maybe for a week or two now, maybe wait a little bit longer until you start doing multiple releases in one area. Always something to kind of play around with. As always, please let me know if you have any comments or questions below, and hope everyone is staying well.